You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Justified After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Justified After Show.
And welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us for another AFTERBUZZ TV After Show for Justified, Season 5, Episode 6, Kill the Messenger. I'm John Comerford. I'm joined on the big panel by Tamara Berg.
Hey, everybody.
Steve Bottomley.
Hi.
Matt Lieberman.
Hey.
And for a very special guest host, we have U.S. Deputy Marshal Rachel Brooks, the inimitable, the lovely, the talented Erica Tazel.
Yay!
Thank you very much for joining us. She's in studio. Looking forward. We talked about it last week. So great to have you here. We can't wait to hear what you have to say about everything. Later on, we'll have a very special segment. We'll ask her all about your experience on the show and anything else you want to talk about. But before we get to that, we have to break down this episode, and I want to start with Ava, because that to me was gutting. That was gut wrenching. You know, I just felt horrible for her. We start out in the prison. She's in Kentucky, the state prison.
Yeah,
She's been transferred. And I got the willies just starting to watch it. I've been to prison.
You have?
Well,
John, what brought you to prison?
He's been to prison, not in prison.
That's true. You have been to prison.
That's true.
It's a radically different experience.
Yeah, I know,
I don't know why you would front like that.
What, you don't want to hear my experience of going to prison even though I wasn't in prison?
Yeah, it sounds way boring.
Regardless.
Guest day.
Okay, but did anybody else feel horrible for her, or was it just me?
Absolutely.
Yeah, as much as Ava is kind of tough, she's, she's a sweet, pretty blonde gal. And, so showing up in that kind of circumstance where, that fear of the unknown in that situation, there's clearly violence all around. I was just scared to death for her.
It's coming on the heels of, oh my God, I'm getting out.
Yeah, I know.
I got one more day. I'll see you tomorrow,
close.
and we're just going to sleep all day.
Sleep all day.
To standing there watching this guard actually just jab
himself. He shivved
Are
himself.
you kidding me? So now that is starting to spin out to having to go into general population. But here's what I love about it.
Yeah.
They got her into a bigger arena.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
We were talking about, what are you going to do with Ava? You can't keep having her in just this one room.
Yeah.
But now she's further away than ever. And, what Boyd thought she was protected, no, not too much.
Yeah.
That's an interesting protection plan.
Well, two things for me in this particular story arc was when she turned to her attorney, the wild man, as he calls himself.
Yes.
It hasn't been very wild. But when she says, "Can you help me?" she looks so small and vulnerable. And I was just, oh my God, this, as you would expect. Go ahead, man.
No, I mean, it's
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Bringing that back up.
Yeah. No, it's a miscarriage of justice. She never even touches this shiv.
Right.
Yeah.
Her fingerprints aren't on it. DNA's not on it. But no one's checking it because she's a prisoner, because there's a witness. And now she's in Gen Pop. Everyone's screwing with her because, as she said, she doesn't belong there.
We're going to score the
she
entire
doesn't look
show.
like she belongs. The most unsettling thing to me.
Sorry about that, guys.
That's all
And that offered sort of the biggest threat of violence, and it's this subtle thing, is when that woman just kind of grabs her hair and just kind of runs her fingers
isn't
through
it interesting? Last episode we saw that other woman playing with her hair, and everybody talking about how corn silky it is and all that other stuff, and now it becomes
They've been talking about her hair for years.
Exactly,
and I don't
they have.
understand the fascination, frankly.
Well, I don't know.
All right.
You don't know, Steve?
Boyd was supposed to protect her because of what Boyd did, she is now without protection.
Yeah.
The white supremacists aren't going to protect her. No one's going to protect her because Boyd let the blacks into the church. It's just like, oh my God, please.
He's a race traitor, is what he's calling him.
Yeah, by the gunner.
Yeah.
And the Hitler humpers.
Love that one.
I mean, it's a funny thing, right? Because, when we met Boyd, he was preaching this stuff, wholeheartedly. He was a white supremacist. That's what he believed. And then he had this kind of crisis of faith. And, to have his choices that we often, I think, as fans, choose to forget because we like him so much. come back to haunt him and like have his growth now kind of thrown in his face is important.
But that's what the show does so good, that the little things that you think don't matter, they come back in a big way. And again, it's coming back not to, I think Boyd could absolutely take it if it hurt him. But it isn't. It's hurting Ava. So great twist on that.
You know, one of the things that I felt right out of the gate with this episode was they're raising the stakes really fast. You know, we went from, you know, a little bit of humor and a little bit of, you know, lightheartedness happening in amongst all the, you know, vicious and grisly murders to, you know, to just seriously raising the stakes right away. And, you know, when Boyd went to Gunner's place, I'm sorry if I'm jumping ahead, but when he went, I'm doing it anyway. He went there, and you know, Gunner was reminding him of his history, and he stands and looks at, you know, the symbols and the flags on the wall, and you can see it kind of hitting him. And
but you even saw it before he went in there. If you recall, he's in this vehicle, and he's reluctant to go in. He doesn't want to have to go do this.
Well, I've been a tear away. Oh yeah, it was a very vulnerable, emotional moment, a very private moment.
But don't you think it was all crap? I can't believe I'm at this point where I have to go in there and enlist their help.
Yeah.
But it was well done. I
mean, that was great.
You see him like trying to pull it together right to, hey,
yeah, then,
exactly. Old friend, how are you?
I like that juxtaposition. He's so reluctant to go in, and then as soon as he goes in, hey, buddy.
Which also just reinforces you don't have a friend here. You don't know who's up and up.
But here's the thing. You know, where are we in this season, right? This is season 5 of the show. We're 6 episodes into a 13-episode season. And if I'm getting anything at all from how we've been seeing Boyd so far this season, it was all about making him desperate enough to make some bad choices. He's being pushed so far into the corner that he's retracing his old white supremacist roots. It doesn't work out.
Going to Mexico for heroin rather than sticking to the much more
safe and lucrative business of pot.
Right. Instead, and now he's working with the cartel. And you know, Boyd a year ago would not be so stupid as to invite the Crows into his life in, you know, in this far bigger fashion than we previously thought. He's out of options.
Yeah.
And you know, I can't remember the last time we saw Boyd in such dire straits.
Yeah, and the Dairy Queen is slipping away.
Well, let's face it, it's all because of how dire the situation is with Ava. And to go back to the other point about Ava, you know, I thought that the two emotional moments when she asked the attorney for help because she looked so vulnerable at that point, and then cutting the hair because that was such, for me, that was an act of defiance. You're not going to get my hair. I'll take my hair.
I'll take my hair from you.
So.
There's still something here, I think. They can't find the guy. You know, there's still somebody pulling the strings.
The guard that
I think there's still someone pulling strings to keep Ava in
we don't know who's behind all that.
We don't know who's behind that.
Because obviously somebody turned off the cameras. There's all kinds of things going on.
Gosh.
Am I the only person who doesn't think that it's a massive conspiracy? I think that this guy is nuts. This guard.
Okay, you
Danny
think it's
Strong,
all him?
I think it's absolutely him, dude.
I think it's because you like Danny Strong, the actor.
Listen, I love Danny Strong. I think he's an excellent writer and excellent actor. But I think it's less of a stretch to say that a guy who's willing to stab himself would also turn off the security cameras.
No, I don't have any problem doing that.
There's someone who's arranging all this.
I just think there's somebody with him. I don't think it's just him. I don't think he's acting alone.
Okay.
Back to Ava cutting her.
Hold on, no. Erica made a noise that leads me to believe that she knows.
She might have some inside skinny that she can share with us on that point.
No, that'll be a spoiler.
Okay. We tried. Okay, every once in a while we'll have to try to get a spoiler.
Every guest answer.
I know.
We had to have a guest.
I don't know why we're still shocked when we get turned down. When we ask those questions.
We have to ask. Though.
Yes, we think we can get something because we're so charming. Back to Ava cutting her hair. She cut her real hair.
Right. Yeah. That's not a wig.
And if you'll remember, when we saw her live and in person at the premiere,
where we saw
you there too, and you looked really beautiful that night. You like swished by me in that beautiful dress, and I was like, "Hey, pretty dress." I'm sure you remember. It was a moment we had. Anyway, she cut her real hair. She put in extensions and put her hair in a bun so that no one would know that she had her hair, that her hair was shorter.
You guys are sneaky.
She's been very protective of her haircut and not being seen in public, which is a long time because we shot that episode, before Thanksgiving or right at Thanksgiving. So she unveiled it last night on Twitter.
Yeah, it's a very cute picture on Twitter.
You guys are very sneaky with your information.
Well, and I will say, okay, razor. I thought she's gonna I'm going to medical.
Of course.
I'm gonna
Well, I think that was a great little turn away.
Yeah, I did not think about the hair.
No.
So nice.
Well, it's a sign of her strength.
Right.
You know, she's not going to let anyone
victimize her.
Yeah, victimize her, take that strength away from her. She's going to do it first, and you better believe you're going to see her harden up.
Because when she was pulling the shotgun out and killing what's his name? Delroy. Thank you for remembering that. Yeah. I mean, that's the kind of Ava we've seen in these last few weeks.
Or when she nearly lit Nikki Augustine.
Yeah, we haven't seen any of that.
The frying pan.
No,
exactly.
But that's why I'm glad she's now in the state prison. We get to see that again. There was nowhere for her to show that when she was back in Harlan, wherever she was.
Well, and the other thing is, why would she? Because I'm going to get out soon, so I'm not going to cause any problem because I want to get out. But now I'm in. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's be in.
Yeah. Bring it, prison.
Yeah.
Basically, I'm not wrong. Bring it, prison.
Yeah, that sounds just like something they'd say. Bring it, prison.
It's going to be the spin-off show. Bring it, prison.
Yeah. Sounds like a reality show on Spike.
All right, so anything else we want to say on Ava before we continue with our boy discussion?
Dying to see the hairdo.
What's that?
Dying to see the hairdo.
It's sexy.
It's really cute.
It's sexy. Oh, sexy. All right. Prison sexy. Wait a minute. Is it prison sexy or is it sexy?
It's sexy.
Okay.
Damn. Okay. Go Ava. It was dim in that bathroom to be able to do that kind of work.
I know, that's
with
good.
a razor
That
in dim
is a
light.
skill
Impressive.
set.
Yeah.
But
She can get some work in prison, definitely.
She has training in that area, does she not? Wasn't she?
Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
That's right.
There you
She
go.
had a salon.
There you
Okay.
go. So she knows what she's doing, even with
She
a
does.
razor.
Yeah, she
Oh
does.
man.
It's going to be feathered or layered. What? I don't know.
Let's just move on.
Okay, we'll move on from the hair cutting.
Yeah.
All right, let's go from hair cutting to skinheads. So Gunnar and his Hitler humpers.
Yep.
So
So charming.
yeah, weren't
So
they?
charming,
What a
as
throw
we were
in.
discussing, why some nice young thing hasn't scooped him up.
Exactly. I mean, he is tall, he is built, he is enterprising.
That's right.
He knows that there's power in numbers.
Yeah, and he's learned a lot from Boyd. He knows.
He listens to other men. He's the kind of guy who I think would ask for directions on the side of the road.
Absolutely.
Just happens to believe that white is right, and that's pretty messed up.
Yeah. Gunnar Swift.
But he realizes if he's going to perform a service for Boyd, he deserves to be paid for it. He knows how to ask for it. So he's, like you said, he's enterprising.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't know that if you do ask for that money and you don't perform the service, that's probably not
repercussions. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Yeah,
So
there was that little fault in his plan.
Yeah, nobody's perfect, right?
But he was utilized wonderfully to get the two teams together, get the two camps together. Okay, now you have a focus, and we'll see how long that lasts. But nice beating.
Yeah. Well,
Nice
that's the other
meeting.
point I wanted to make about this particular storyline is that we saw a lot of people pairing up here. We saw Boyd obviously turning to Daryl, which I didn't see coming. I don't know.
Not
anybody
at all.
None of us predicted
No.
that. So, because we thought they were going to be, and who knows, by the end of the series, they might be at each other's throats again. Because, as Raylan says, they're animals; they'll turn on each other soon enough.
Right.
But it was interesting to see that's again Boyd making choices, as Matt was saying earlier, that just are not good.
That are beneath him. I want to point out two things. One, when he goes to Gunnar's, the way that it's lit and the kind of the openness of the space, you had me recall.
You're talking about the
Boyd's,
first time or the second time?
The first time.
Okay.
You know, when it's daytime, it reminds me of Boyd's place in the pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was
which
saying,
had a
too.
lot of natural light. The church, yeah.
Yeah.
It reminded me of that a whole bunch.
Same.
And I'm sure that was very deliberate
Yeah.
on the part of the cinematographer,
He's an acolyte,
Dave Blass, the production designer. But what I loved and what makes me most curious about this partnership is when Daryl is just beating on Gunnar, and then he looks back at Boyd for assurance, more, less.
Well, no,
more?
Boyd said that's enough, and then he punches him a few more times.
And then he punches him a few more times. So there's kind of this illusion of him kind of paying attention and being a little bit submissive, but that ultimately he can't be controlled.
Yeah.
So I think Boyd is going to think maybe eventually that he's got control of this guy, but this guy's a wild animal.
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
Well,
I
all
don't
the
know.
crows are.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Boyd will ever mistake that he can control Daryl.
You're
or
probably
wants
right.
to.
That was an overstatement.
But that's an interesting point about when he walks into the church the first time to greet Swift, because they don't have a lot of opportunities to show growth with Boyd. They just don't. And I thought that was a great moment for them to use that, because you could see him looking around going, wow, this was a different time. This is not me. It doesn't say where he is now, but at least it says, look, the character did move. Boyd realizes he's moved, and I thought it was a really small, but kind of an important moment, especially as they're winding down.
And that movement wasn't too long ago.
Yeah. No, it wasn't.
In the world of Justified, I don't think it's even been a year yet, maybe
Right.
a year and a half.
In the context of the whole series?
Yeah, because remember, I take it off of Winona's pregnancy.
Right.
And the baby is, what, a month or so
Yeah,
now?
something like that.
So
Yeah.
it
Wow,
hasn't
nothing
been,
ever settles down in...
It hasn't been years that we're talking about.
It's
No.
been
The
like
fact-
maybe 15 months, like
But
maybe
I mean,
a year and a half.
I mean, we could also make the argument that Boyd, he says that great line to Gunner, which is, "I've never let politics stand in the way of business," and I think that could be true for his church preaching and all that other stuff. I don't think it was all just ideology. I think it was survival. I think the guy is a survivor. He knows how to work a system or work a way to get what he wants.
And he's an opportunist.
He's an opportunist. Absolutely,
Yeah.
he takes advantage of that. That's my argument. No, nothing. Okay.
Yeah,
No, I was just, honestly,
I didn't get traction.
Here's where I was, because I was still thinking about that beating.
Yeah.
Because if you can't shoot somebody, you can beat them up. And they've got to start figuring out a way to get the skin flaps going. Because it's
Skin flaps?
because when you beat somebody up, the face opens up. And
What?
I'm
From
telling
your
you,
vast experience of beating
I'm
people.
telling you, one of these shows is going to figure out how to start skin slapping the face.
I'm sure that Steve
And if
knows more about
Justified
skin
is-
flaps than you know about
That's
prison.
Justified isn't one of the first ones to do it. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It's gonna, because okay, bloody face, but now you're sophisticated enough to look at the face and go, yeah, but it's it's bloody, but I've seen that.
I personally, Steve, don't need to see the inside
I
of a
don't
man's
either.
Okay, we're talking about a show where you can see a guy get a headshot and the blood splatter behind him, and you
Right.
go, nice.
You go
face.
nice.
Go, and you don't just go
That's
nice.
the
You go
point.
nice. Yeah. No, I'm still
Okay.
blown away by. I'm just thinking about what Erica said about how long the series has been going on,
Right.
and I'm just kind of trying to
Recalibrate everything.
recalibrate my expectations of the characters, and just thinking about this timeline and everything that's gone on. I'm going to be thinking about it for a few days now.
Great.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, we've lost Matt for the rest of the show.
We have.
Yeah,
we have. He's
I'm
thinking.
useless now.
Just speaking on violence, and that you guys didn't get your naked bodies this episode.
Yeah.
We also had no dead bodies this episode.
Well, we had naked Ava, technically,
Sort of.
sort of.
Nice.
yeah, from the shoulder armpits up.
Look, I'm not. It wasn't
I'm
a
just saying
titillating scene. It
but
was
we-
very harrowing, but we did get nudity. this
Dewey was
episode.
not involved in it, so that was a plus.
That was a plus.
My point was there were no
Wow.
dead bodies this episode. That was my point.
Thank you,
and
Tamara, for
had they
bringing it back.
taken my advice, there could have been
There
one.
could have been.
This is why no one takes your
By the way,
advice.
hold
You
on a second.
can't-
And
you
let me-
can't.
let me just button that point. I don't think the violence is gratuitous or unnecessary. That's the world they live in. And
Right.
if you're going to do that,
Yeah,
it has a place, and they do it well, and it does. There's a reason for it.
No question.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
All right.
Right.
then.
You just want to see more.
I just need to get the caveat out.
We
And we can't.
understand.
Well, in this particular episode, he can't get rid of Gunner because we need him to
Right.
say something to Gretchen or somehow get a
Absolutely.
message to him. He can't really say
not gonna be
anything
Right.
to Gretchen.
He's not going to be talking much. It's going to be very painful and difficult for a little while.
Yeah. Well, it kind of makes me wonder how much does Gretchen love her brother? Because it's still it's going to be a pain in the butt to try to keep Ava safe from everybody.
Yeah, and,
but I don't
and you,
think- I
how are you
don't
going to
think-
explain it to everybody?
Yeah.
So-
if you're Gretchen, because everybody's going to go, whoa, wait a minute here. You can that's
Yeah.
not
No,
that's
she's
not
a
the rules
race
we live.
trader.
He's not
I
my
thought-
brother.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's a.
So that's going to be a challenge.
It's
Yeah.
going to get sticky. We'll talk a little bit in the news about what I know about that.
Okay, see,
Not a
that's
lot,
why
but I know a little.
That's why I think the haircutting thing is very important because I
Yeah.
think now she's not asking anybody
Yeah,
else.
she's
help
taking
me,
a
help me."
proactive-
She's go, okay. This
Yeah.
is how we're gonna go. This is the game we're gonna play. Great.
Yeah, but on the other side of things, with if it's all right with
Yeah.
what Boyd's dealing with, he's also setting up this drug deal, this heroin deal south of the border.
Yep.
Mr. Picker introduces them to some new characters. We got
Mr. Yoon.
Mr. Yoon,
Alberto Ruiz.
and Alberto Ruiz. And Mr. Yoon. I love this scene that they have together. And I love anytime we see Wynn Duffy.
Yes.
Mr. Picker, I guess, apparently let off the hook for everything.
Right.
Last
it's-
week in federal custody,
Yeah.
but now he's just out and
Well, they have
about.
Theo Tonin, so what are they in here
And
for?
because he learned his lesson. You just don't mess with these kind of people. Straighten your life up. We know you well.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
Yeah, Picker's going to go straight, that's what you're telling me? Yeah, okay.
That's the only reason.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
All right.
But it's like there's this casual menace to Mr. Yoon where he's just like, listen,
oh, for sure.
I'm not the guy that they send when they're trying to kill someone. But, you know, they will send that guy. I do work for the cartel. I'm not going to behead you, but my bosses would love to. So just take that, put it in your back pocket.
Exactly.
He's their front man. He's their face man.
Yeah.
He's great.
Nice face.
You know,
He's a great face man.
that was a difficult scene to actually kind of get the power thing going because neither side can show fear. And yet someone needs to express this is a completely different level of play. These, you have dealt with, you know, guys.
Right.
These aren't guys. This is the big leagues.
Right.
And I was hoping to see somebody just kind of make a mistake through nervousness or something. You know what I mean? Just give a little tell. But in looking at it, the only one that could have done that was Picker.
Really?
Yeah, Boyd couldn't. There's no way Boyd is going to break. And Duffy, it's not in his character to break.
But see, but he has. When they played Harlan Roulette, we saw through the veneer, and now ever since, it's just seemed so paper thin to me. Like
Win Duffy?
Oh yeah. Like before we ever saw him be vulnerable, like back in season 1, season 2, I never would have thought I would have seen the icy cool break. But now I see it just behind the eyes all the time, and it's this wonderful thing that Jerry Burns does with this performance.
But what about last week in the cafe? I mean, that was Duffy at his best.
Yeah.
Can I order?
No, but I agree with Matt. I don't think he ever breaks in terms of, I think I see what you're saying. I get that. I know what you're talking about. I agree with it. But rarely does he ever break in a scene like that. It's only when you've already caught him off kilter.
Yeah.
Because then that's when it is.
Fair enough.
But
Yeah,
in those
not
things,
when
he's
the company in the room.
Yeah, he's really cool on those things.
Right.
He's always cool. I mean, and evidenced by last week when he said, "Hey, can I order?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? You just watch him. Anyway,
but that sets up a whole new thing. Now we're going to go to Mexico.
Yeah.
And meet Mr. Yoon's people.
Yes, we are.
Hot Rod is a hostage.
Yeah.
Hostage Rod. And
great little tip off from Hot Rod. And by the way, that wasn't that a great callback to season 2? What a great way to answer that.
Yes.
To let Boyd know that there's something else going on here and it's a trap.
Remember that day in Bennett's barn?
And as he said that, I'm going, what time? Bennett's barn? Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah.
I had forgotten about that detail, too.
Oh, yeah?
Nice.
Man, that took me back.
And Arlo limping.
Yeah, exactly. That's how they figured out who it was.
Oh, man. Oh.
Right?
See?
So long ago.
Yeah.
But apparently not that long ago.
No.
More like 9 months ago.
Now, I wonder, see, that's the kind of thing, I wonder what happened in the writer's room when they went, okay, how are we going to answer this? How do we get this? And then they go back to the Bible of every show they've done. Ah, there it is. Or does somebody have some weird Rain Man kind of
I just love
somebody probably
I
does.
just love the beautiful sweat work that was going on with Hot Rod. Of just like, I wasn't entirely sure what was going on. But even before he tipped his hand and he talked about the Bennett's farm, I'm just seeing the pouring sweat. I'm like,
and it was a tight.
Let's talk about the cinematography on that, the way they were so tight and the way they did that nice movement around to reveal the gun and everything. So you knew something was up, but you didn't know until finally, you know, three quarters of the way through his conversation.
Yeah.
So that was kind of fun.
Slick.
Yeah.
Very slick.
Very well done.
Yeah. All right.
What else we have on the Boyd thing? Now he's again. We keep coming back to Johnny. Johnny's just the rocking his shoe.
But who knew that Johnny had it in him to actually pull something off and gather a crew and have a master plan? I mean, you look at his strategy last season. It was just kind of sidle up to win Duffy and ask for help, promise to kill.
But let's not forget, he was injured. That guy almost died. He was still recovering. I don't think he had the
So now
stamina.
he has his superpowers back.
I think so. And not only that, he needed time because obviously, I mean,
I want to know all about David Munier's
superpowers, right?
Absolutely. He sat right here where Erica was.
He was bit by a radioactive hooker.
Yeah. Her name was Candy.
Her name was Candy.
Yeah.
So now he's Candy Man.
So now he's got pop rock mouth.
So I just think that while he was recuperating physically, he was trying to figure out a way, and so I think he was moving his chess pieces out of sight.
Okay.
That's why I think it took him so long. Yeah. But he's a crowder.
Not only did they bring him back, they bring him back big.
Yeah.
And love seeing it. Love seeing it. And I also like how he's behind the scenes. He is the string puller.
Bit of a puppet master, yeah.
Yeah, a bit more. So.
Because he's a people person, as we heard last week.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
He is.
Well, I feel like everything else we got to talk about Boyd also brings us to the Crows.
Yeah, so before we get to that, let's thank everybody.
So iTunes folks, people, we asked and we received.
We did.
Thank you so much for everybody who reached out to us on iTunes. Because here's the thing, folks. I talked about it a bit last week. We do these shows because we love talking about great shows like Justified. We put out over 60 hours of content a week here at AfterBuzz TV. It's all free, and because we live in the amazing future, you can stream it or download and listen to it or watch it on any of your devices. It's pretty amazing, and people can give us their feedback and let us know how we're doing. So we had 5 wonderful people reach out to us. I'm going to thank them right now. Rob 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 9 0. 5-star review. Great stuff. Very informative breakdown of the episode. Matt is a great addition to what is an already great panel.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Whoa.
It says it right there.
Are you Robert?
Yeah.
Are you Rob?
I'm not. I would not have doubled the 9s.
Okay.
And just so you know, man, you made a man blush, so kudos. Not everyone can do that. Tofan1 writes, "Hi, I love your Justified podcast. So entertaining. Wanted to go into a tidbit not sure you were aware of. James LeGros, who we talked about a bit on this show,
played Messer.
was the original Raylan. Back in '97, he did a TV movie called Pronto. I have it on VHS. He was good in it, but not as good as Timothy Oliphant. Great.
I did not know this.
Wow.
I did not know this. Thank you.
This is what's amazing about doing this show.
Yeah, and I'm so excited to track this thing down and get my eyes on it. Finally, writes Bonsai Guy, a podcast that is focused on show content, not the personalities of the hosts.
Except Matt.
Except me, apparently. Well done, insightful opinions.
And that's what makes him a great addition.
Stop it. No, we're not doing this. Don't put the spotlight on me.
He's blushing again.
I don't like it. Great podcast. Mower Man 1974. Love Justified. Love AfterBuzz. Love AfterBuzz TV. Justified podcast.
Yay.
Kempo Craig. Great podcast for an excellent show. Very solid discussion on Justified. Best show on TV. I think the interplay between the team is very good, and they pick up the things that one might miss during an airing of the show. They have very good insight, and the podcast is both entertaining and informative. Keep up the fun.
Thank you.
You reach out to us on iTunes. We'll read out your reviews on the show. It really, really helps. It keeps the show searchable, keeps us in the top 10 here on AfterBuzz TV, and we want to be the #1 Justified show on the net. I don't think it's that hard. I don't think it's that hard, people.
Absolutely.
All right, so that takes us to our next segment, which is Dewey. Poor Dewey.
He's losing grip on his dream.
The Barney
His
Fife
big
of
dream.
Justified.
Yeah,
his life
dream.
And my question is, what is that?
The pool.
The pool. Having a pool.
Was it the pool?
No, it was him owning a whorehouse, sitting in a pool with whores.
I don't think Dewey knows what his dream is anymore. I think
that was emblematic.
Yeah.
Sitting in a pool with
I think
hookers.
his dream is just getting the cousins away from him.
Well,
is his
it is
dream.
now.
It is now, exactly.
But the dream was to swim in the pool with hookers, high on drugs,
And he had it.
for the next 50 years.
Well, it didn't last that long.
No, it lasted about 50 minutes.
Because of Raylan.
Right.
Yeah.
He was living the dream. He was living the dream, and it was worth $800 and then $20 by the end of it.
But
That would be the cosmetic damage I referenced.
But he's
pathetic.
angry, he's ornery. This murder that he committed is it's really weighing on
It's-
him, and it's changing his decision making.
But it's also emboldening him.
Yeah.
You don't know what I've done,
Yeah.
he's saying. And he's kind of throwing that around. Still having a little trouble getting the gun out of his pocket.
Yeah, because he's Dewey.
'Cause he's
Pathetic.
Dewey.
Yeah. A lot of self-hatred going on, too. I mean, he's so mad at himself and angry what he turned into. He's going to vent it outwards.
He's also a crow, and crows do spin out. So that might be his character path.
But still,
as he's trying to...
I mean, he's still a coward because as soon as Raylan show up, he just leaves. I got lost in the woods. I forget to get out.
Yeah.
No cell service.
He's pathetic. What scares me more than anything is that Dewey, because he's like a scared animal that's been cornered.
He is.
I think he's so desperate to show that he's something that he'll kill anything just to think, look, see what I did?
Well,
he's more dangerous than others.
I think that's another level of sort of raising the stakes in that, we're becoming more acquainted and they're becoming more important, these characters who are unpredictable.
Yeah.
Danny.
Yeah, and then the two of them teaming up.
Exactly.
That's why I thought it was so pivotal the way he had to make that kill against the mole.
Wade.
Wade Messer last week, yeah.
Right. And not just go in and do it, but it had to be a botch. I'm not good at this because he's still trying to find his way into that world.
Yeah.
Had he done that,
he doesn't even want to be there.
Exactly. But had it been a clean kill, that you wouldn't have been able to carry this character in these crazy, funny situations anymore. That paradigm would have shifted.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
It gives him somewhere to go.
I'm just worried about Danny and his influence on the other members of the family. The fact that
Kendall.
Kendall, he's the wildest of cards.
Yes.
Jean-Baptiste is missing. Daryl's asking around, sniffing around it. And for whatever reason, he's buying Danny's lies. And I have to imagine that Danny's done some pretty heinous stuff in the past.
Okay, but do you think really Daryl's buying him? He knows that something's up. He just doesn't know what it is yet. I think he knows that, okay, you screwed up.
Yeah.
Okay. As long as we're on the same page there.
But there hasn't been any other conversations with, the sister or anybody else about it. I'm not sure. He's repeating Danny's... Or at least the sister's repeating it to Daryl. I don't know if Daryl has bought into
it seems like the dynamic is that Daryl will ask these questions. He will eventually find out because he knows somebody screwed up somewhere and nobody's going to tell him because they never do. Because as soon as he finds out, he goes crazy on him. But I'm sure he's going to find out. I mean, he knows Danny screwed up.
Oh, absolutely. And, Danny he's the least developed of any of them. He's also the most dangerous because he's kind of nuts. He even before the threat of prison, I feel like he feels like he has nothing to lose.
Chelsea's representative of him. He's a dog. He's an animal. He doesn't. You don't know what he's going to do.
Right.
You don't think Danny showed a level of romance so close to Valentine's Day with Chelsea and Alison? I thought that was very nice.
Sweet.
It was so gross. It was.
To each his own.
No, he's just standing, just the way he kind of says under his breath, play with Chelsea. Good, come on, grab the grab the rope.
You know as an actor he's going, oh my God, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you,
like this is a gift of a scene to get to play this stuff.
Because he nailed it.
He's
and then run her off and just bark.
Yeah.
We're going to need Sherlock to figure out who did this.
I'm sure that was scripted, but can you share with us whether or not that was that barking? I'm assuming you didn't just do that.
Well, I mean, it comes back later.
Having played with AJ a little bit, I'm sure that was him.
Oh, really?
I wasn't on set that day,
okay.
I can, just watching it from an actor's point of view, I was like, that guy's playing a lot, and they kept it because it was so brilliant.
Wow, nice.
Yeah.
All right.
And when you meet Chelsea in real life, I mean,
I'm sure
when you said that, Danny is like a dog.
Yeah.
That she's sweet as pie.
I believe
when
it.
she is not barking, but she can turn it on, and I think that's very much how Danny is, and so they have a symbiotic relationship now.
Yeah.
Those two actors.
Wonderful.
Those two actors.
I know the dog must be safe and pleasant because the work environment, but damn, it scares me.
So scary.
Because really when I met her, it was when she was upset, and I was like, I want to take a picture with her later, and I was shaking in my boots because my introduction to her was
when she was all agitated.
Actor, right?
Oh yeah, wow.
So kudos to that trainer.
Well, I'm just so curious. Do they need everybody said, wait, we got to bring her down now, or is it really like she's done? We're going to shut her off.
She had cue words. She had words.
Wow.
And they had the K9 trainer there, and like I said, she was as docile as she wanted to be. And
she could turn it on and off that fast?
Wow. She's a great actor.
Wow.
She deserves a nomination.
Wow.
Damn. Okay.
Scariest dog award.
Yeah, I want to go to her coach. That sounds good. I loved the moment where you guys discover Danny and
Carl.
And Carl.
Yeah.
And first
in
of all,
the cabin.
In the cabin.
Wonderful,
Speaking of romance.
wonderful job taking him down.
No.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Must've been very
how much fun is that?
I don't play. She's small, but she packs a mighty
Yeah,
punch.
no kidding. But okay, when you see those, and you're like, oh, that's gonna be fun. Is that like you look forward to those, or like, oh, this is gonna be interesting?
Well,
or?
I look forward to how it's going to change when we actually get
really?
to the location.
Okay,
and that one changed a lot just because of how the house was constructed and how he was going to come out, and there wasn't really a place to hide. And can you see me over here by the door? And it's fun.
Yeah, I like the way that was shot too. The angle of the camera on that, so we got to see you. That was great because it did come. He was caught quite a surprise there.
That's great.
Yeah. So you're in there, and then Carl comes up with this very clever scheme
ruse.
To get out of there. It's a very clever ruse that also shames Danny quite a bit.
Yes.
And it was so lovely.
Well, it would have shamed him if he really understood it, but I'm not sure if he. I know what the hell was going on.
Consensual.
Yeah.
Consensual.
Content to content.
And again, based on what you just told me, that's probably a slip that he made. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe
I can't remember that one.
All right, because that sounds like something that he might play with.
Again,
Istanbul, not Constantinople.
It's such a great example of where you think it's going to go, and the show just goes, nope, we're going this way.
A 10-second diversion.
Sure.
What would their safe word have been?
That's a great question.
That's a great question.
Oh.
It had to have been small.
2 syllables at the most.
At least 2 syllables at most. Probably, damn it. No, it's not
Bacon.
Bacon?
Bacon. I think bacon might be one of them.
Yeah, bacon or ham sandwich. I don't know.
Yeah.
Too many syllables.
Too many syllables.
Yeah, all right.
Ham sandy, same amount of syllables.
Okay, good diversion. Moving on. All right, back to the storyline. So what most interesting about this is the Dewey-Danny teaming.
Yes.
This freaked me out because I'm with Dewey of all people. I mean, let's face it, Dewey's bad news. He's but I still feel bad for the guy because you want him to have a break because I don't think of him as an evil guy, even though, let's face it, he doesn't really, he's not.
He's not a force for good.
No, but he's not a murderer. I mean, I know he has now, but he wasn't.
He's sort of the hapless criminal.
Yes, but he doesn't have the skill set to navigate these waters.
Yeah.
He just doesn't, and
But
it's
pairing
not
him
going
with
to end
Danny.
well for
It's
him.
all bad.
Yeah, pairing him with Danny is just bad news.
I can't help but feel that Dewey is the sacrificial lamb of this season and this series as a whole.
Yeah.
You think he's gonna? Are
I
you
feel
making a
like-
prediction like sacrificial this season?
I mean, I hate to jump into predictions already, but it just clicked into my brain. I'm just, whatever is going to set Raylan and Boyd against each other for the final season will have something to do with the death of Dewey Crow.
Whoa.
It's something that I'm just like, I'm like, they could totally not do this, but it's too poetic as of right now for that not to happen.
Well, making Dewey such a central character in this season was a specific choice.
Right. Well,
so
I
they're
have to say,
obviously
as a
building
viewer,
it up.
I'd rather see him die than go down the dark road.
Me too.
I agree.
Me too.
Yeah, because he's already damaged. He's already hurting.
Yeah.
He's lost his dream.
Yeah.
So what else is there?
Really?
Yeah.
He has no self-respect, no respect from his peers, his family.
He discovered his pool is worth
pool.
$20.
Yeah, he's in shark-infested water, not the prostitute-infested water.
Exactly. That's exactly where he is.
The inverse of the water he wants.
Yes.
Naked all the same, but just the wrong swim partners.
Right. Right.
All right. Well, listen, we got to move on to our final thing, which our final segment, which is Rachel and Raylan, and then we'll have our special segment with you specifically, Erica. So let's talk Rachel and Raylan. So what I love mostly is, they've never talked about it other than you're just such a big sister to him.
The little big sister.
Yeah.
But it's like, I have 2 older sisters. I know what it feels like. I know what it sounds like. And to me, that's you put him such in his place, and I love that. And you're so sharp and whip smart that you know exactly what he's thinking and what he's going to do.
There was a few moments in this episode that I saw something in that character, Raylan, but you get right to that. One of them was a very angry, mean look he gave Alison. Which I went, whoa. The other one was when he realized his position in your world changed. When he says, kiss ass, and then he realized, no, that's not right.
No.
Yeah.
And they're
That was huge for Raylan.
Yeah.
That was huge for him, and I thought it was played so nicely where, you could tell your character knew that, okay, I'm not going to hit him on that because, he's making progress.
But also, I think that, because part of that sentence was that he realized he's the screw-up. And it's the first time he's actually really acknowledged it. Everybody's talked about it offhanded, in oblique ways.
And he's sort of reveled in it.
It's kind of brushed it off.
Yes.
But no.
there haven't been any real consequences
That's
to that until now.
That's right.
That punch from Art is
that was
loaded.
Huge.
Well, I mean, you see the effects immediately when you've got this meeting between, the four of you, right? And we've never seen Raylan Givens this quiet. He's just.
And we've never seen him want to go do inventory of bullets for crying out loud.
So he's beginning his penance, but he's suitably cowed. You know what I mean? And it's not a good look on him. Cowed is not the swashbuckling cowboy.
It's not sexy.
Cowboys don't swashbuckle, but you get my point.
We do, but it's not sexy.
And of course, because the reason why he made those decisions last season with Nikki Augustine was because his family was in jeopardy, and we can argue all we want about whether or not it was justified or not. But he realizes how screwed up he made it, and we see that effect in how it's. I mean, you called him to task on it completely.
Yeah.
That the shitstorm they're going to be in.
Yeah. And not even knowing what the shitstorm.
Yeah, you just know it's bad.
Yeah. You're not saying yes. You're not saying no. Okay.
If art hit you in the face and you guys aren't saying a word about it, how bad is that?
Especially considering everything that he's done before.
Yeah.
How much worse could it possibly be?
Exactly.
Now, I thought it was a great decision to have you guys paired up after that hit because he needed a way to get back in. He wouldn't have done it through Tim. That would have just been ribbing back and forth, and tough guy. It had to be you, your character, so that he could find his way back in. And again, that one moment where he realized
in the car.
I don't have to be an a-hole anymore.
Yeah.
These are my peers.
Yeah.
These are going to, again, Art says, you can call it a chaperone. I call it, getting your
backup or something.
or backup. Those sort of things, they're starting to sink in. So,
exactly.
Plus, it's always fun to see you out there.
I know it's fun to be out there.
Yeah.
Kicking ass, taking names.
How is that? Does that scene play like it was written, or did you guys improv any of that? Or
Actually, that was a second version. There was a much longer version where essentially the spirit of the scene is the same, but what I missed from the original scene is that Rachel says to Raylan, you don't have to do everything by yourself. You're actually on a team of people. And if you had just told us that these people came after your family, the nature of this fraternity is that we would have raised all kinds of hell and all kinds of resources would have come in support of you. And yet, knowing that, you still went out on your own.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have,
been
this little transition in that character that he's not by himself.
He doesn't have to be the cowboy.
But I'm glad they saved that. I think that can be more powerful later. I think you take the steps, and so that when that moment comes, it's going to have a much bigger impact.
Right, much more
because
profound.
he already learned that lesson. That's really not something that he needs reinforced. Not there. He's going to slip.
Exactly.
Well, the fact that he's not even seeing. She's there, right there, exemplifying that. He's not even aware of it.
Yeah.
It takes him that.
Yeah, I love the rewrite on that because it's exactly what you said. It's just more subtle. It just lays it in there for later.
And you got to call him a son of a bitch.
Here's where. Yeah, there you go.
There'll be some more of that coming.
I thought where you spoke the loudest is when you just turned away and didn't say a word.
Yeah.
It's okay, all right.
That's how you have to deal with Raylan.
That's how
in my opinion.
In your opinion. It was fun.
No. Yeah.
What other secrets you want to share about how Rachel approaches her job?
I think it's just that she's a silent observer, and when she speaks loudly.
She's very sharp.
Yeah, she doesn't. There's nothing wasted. No words are wasted. She doesn't talk to be heard.
Yeah, she's not Walton Gog.
Exactly. Not Boyd, who uses 40 words when 4 would suffice.
Exactly.
Yeah. Those two need to get in the room together because he thinks he's the smartest person in the room, and I think she thinks she's the smartest person.
That
in the
would
room.
be amazing.
So we'll see.
How come you've never had a scene with? Have you ever? I don't recall one. You and Boyd?
We've sort of passed each other in a scene, but we haven't had direct.
That would be interesting.
Because he's been brought in once or twice to the office.
That year that they had the fight in the conference room and broke into Art's office.
Right. That would be formidable.
Yeah. I think so. Let's say that again to the writers.
I'm sure they listen to us.
Yeah, come on. We only got one season left.
They do, actually. They love you guys' podcast.
Shut up. We're blushing.
You have fans on the set of Justified.
Oh, my gosh.
Do you know how difficult it is to do a show
Justified
thinking
crew.
Somebody's listening? Oh, my God.
Well, we got to get more of them on here.
Honestly, I didn't think the mics were connected to anything outside that box. That boxy thing.
This is all pretend.
Steve, where do you think you are right now?
I don't know.
Okay.
They drop me off. They pick me up. I don't know.
Okay. Well, anything else on that particular storyline? Otherwise, we'll do news and gossip, and then we'll speak specifically to.
Let's do news and gossip.
News and gossip.
Moving on to news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Ben Hamill, one of our fans from YouTube, who told us that Constable Bob was coming back.
Yes.
Told me Constable Bob is not coming back.
Ben!
No!
Damn it, Ben!
Damn you, Hamill!
He gave us the bad news. Well, it was legit. It had said that he was coming back, but then time passed and they, got into the stories of this season. So he's not coming back this season, although Graham Yost said, as much as we love Patton Oswalt and Constable Bob, and that's one of the things we're most proud of, he'll sit out the season, and if he's available next year, I can't imagine the series ending without a significant presence of Constable Bob.
And his go bag.
And his go bag.
And his go gremlin.
Constable Bob.
Just a little, we talked about this last week about Art listening to Rush in his car.
Rush Limbaugh.
Rush,
not the band Rush.
Rush
Limbaugh.
is a big fan of Justified, and Nick Searcy is a big fan of Rush.
Okay.
There you go.
So there it is. And in fact, Rush talked about Justified and played a clip of the scene from the show on his show.
Oh, okay.
So there's a
Little
lot of love going on
cross-promotion
between
going
them.
on.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, and then the lovely Joelle Carter took to Twitter last night answering fan questions and helping launch and promote Chideo, a new app that connects fans and celebrities and, quote, makes charitable giving more convenient, entertaining, and accessible to everyone.
Oh, good for her.
So during the conversation last night, BlueZip01 asked if it had been challenging to play the Ava prisoner element of her character, and she answered, it has been challenging because Ava has so much humor to play in the scenarios, and and now the scenarios don't allow that. But she also said there's going to be hell to pay. And finally, I jumped into the conversation last night and said, the stakes were raised this episode. Will Ava ever get out of prison? I'm worried about her security. And she answered, thank you. And she said, Ava will prevail, but it might be a long, lonely journey in prison.
Ooh, no.
Hashtag free Ava. And then I mentioned that I like Ava better in dresses and that prison garb isn't flattering. And she answered, I'm looking forward to a new wardrobe myself.
Well, she got the new haircut.
There you go.
Yes,
now
she did.
needs the
Yes,
duds.
she did.
Okay, great.
And that is what we have for news and gossip.
All right.
Okay.
And we're going to turn our special segment to Erica. Everything we want to know about Justified. Where do we start?
Well, how does it end?
Yeah. What spoiler?
I just found out last night.
You did? Really? They already know.
Is that are you going through like an emotional like, oh my God, it's
A
real?
little bit. There are a couple of things in there that shocked me. I was like, ooh.
Really,
that's
from Graham Yost?
That's
Really?
a nice setup for season.
Oh,
6.
nice.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, they just we started episode 12 last night, and they dropped the script for 13, and
Okay.
it's going to be a good finale.
And?
And I will lose my job if I share that.
Because apparently people listen to our podcast.
Apparently.
I'll bet there's guns
Yeah, I bet there's guns.
and whiskey and hookers.
Yeah.
Maybe
There you
All of the above, yeah.
Can you at least tell us whether or not you were in the final script of the season?
I am in the final.
Oh, excellent. Yay. Oh, great.
And
great.
are you swearing at somebody? Are you taking somebody out? Can you offer any of that?
In episode 12, I am.
Okay.
Oh, excellent. That's an AfterBuzz exclusive, I think.
Are you coughing any words like you can do it? Anything like that? Are you gasping at
What is
all?
this question?
No, he's trying
I'm
to
just trying
find
to
out.
see if she dies.
Okay. No.
Okay.
You can't tell us.
Okay.
Let's talk about the experience about being on the set. So, do you enjoy? As you said, sometimes there's some changes made based on, I guess, proxemics or whatever the set is.
Right.
Is that exciting or
It can be.
Yeah.
It can be. It
Or
keeps
is it
you
just
on
more
your toes.
challenging?
It keeps things interesting, and it can also be very challenging, especially if the director had a certain idea of what the hotel room was going to look like.
Right.
For example, in the episode with Monroe and the safe,
right?
he envisioned. Dean had envisioned the safe was going to be in the middle of the desk or
Okay,
something, but it was off in the corner.
Sure.
And so then what happens is you just be a
You
jazz musician
reblock
and you
everything.
improvise. Yeah, and it was beautiful.
Yeah.
So, we never know what's going to happen when we get there.
So what's the most fun about being on the set? Is it creating the scene as it goes, or do you what is it that you enjoy the most on that?
I enjoy actually being in the
whole thing?
presence of our crew.
Okay.
We have a wonderful group of people and great spirits, and they work so hard. And I always say the true stars of our show is that crew. What they endure day in and day out. Our designers are amazing. And, this is another opportunity for me to say that.
That's fabulous.
They are the true stars of the show.
What you guys are able to accomplish on your budget is absolutely astounding.
In the time that we have.
Yeah,
I think we shot episode 10 in 6 days. It's normally 7, which it should be 8.
Wow.
But they did it in 6, so yeah, they're rock stars.
If it's not a harmonious undertaking on that set, then you guys are great liars, because it shows the amount of trust that these characters have working with each other, and the amount that they allow is just amazing.
Yeah, it's an embarrassment of riches, and with such great talent that we have coming through the show, there aren't a lot of egos, and everyone's there just to play and to try to make the best show possible. I mean, we are a family, and we do have our dysfunctions, but at the end of the day, we really have a great respect for each other, and we try to have a good time every time we show up.
Well, and it has to be, like you were saying, there's got to be a lot of pressure in sort of everyday life, because you're trying to get so much done. It's a very ambitious show, and you're trying to get so much done in a short period of time. I would imagine that those dysfunctions kind of come up sometimes, just because people are tired and people are stressed.
After hour 16,
yeah,
I don't hold you accountable for anything you say or do,
right,
and vice versa,
right. And then speaking to that family thing, you have to trust each other in order to get to that place at hour 16 and still give the performances that you are.
Yeah, because there's such great transformation happening right now with the characters. There's huge vulnerability that's taking place in many of the characters that you guys spoke about earlier. So at the end of the day, we want to just be there for each other and give you guys a good show.
Well, we thank you for it. It's a very special show. Yeah. I'm going to ask something that's like so completely small and nerdy, but like one of my favorite moments that you've ever had on the show. It's a very small moment, and I'm pretty sure it was last season where you tell Raylan that you left Joe, that you left your husband.
You caught that.
I did. Well, duh. I mean, it's there. So I was hoping, when we found out that you were coming in, I was like, oh man, maybe we get like a little more of that. And I was disappointed we didn't get any more Rachel personal life. Did Graham or the writers tell you anything about that relationship?
Or what happened there? Or?
Yeah.
There was, in the great world of our 13 episodes, there was a plan at the beginning of the season, and then what happens in television, it changes minute by minute every day.
Sure.
And we were supposed to get a little bit more information about that, and there were going to be some professional consequences as a result of what was happening at home with Rachel that we didn't get a chance to see. So it ended up being a marriage and divorce in one line, but I'm still hoping that we get some more information about Joe. At least for me, he's with me all the time, even in the way that I relate to Raylan.
Are we
not by yourself?
Wow. I'm sorry. Are we going to see more Rachel at home, her home life, or?
In the spinoff, maybe.
There we go. Another exclusive. Thank you very much.
Deputy Brooks.
That's right.
Coming at fast.
Marshal Brooks.
So here's a show about big old, marshals, big old bad guys and stuff, and there's Rachel.
Yes.
So I'm curious, when you went in to read, or when you got the sides there, were you thinking, what? I mean, what was your take on that?
No, I was thinking, hell yes. Rachel in the pilot was great. She had a lot more fire in the pilot, and I hadn't at that point had an opportunity to play something like that. And so I thought it was great material, and I was like, this is a great opportunity to act, and I'm going to go in the room and make some fans. And when I got there and saw who was in the room and the type of women in the room, I thought there's no way. Maybe if they make her a rookie, I'll have a shot at this. But it's still great material, and I'm going to go have fun and play. And then when I got the call back for the role and went into that room, I was like, oh yeah, it's going to be one of them. Because say if there were 13 of us, 10 of them were names and faces, and I was like, it's going to be one of them, and so the pressure's not on me, so I'm just going to have fun. So it was a blessed opportunity because I sort of, threw caution to the wind and had fun in the room, and this one was mine. So here we are.
You've had a history of throwing caution to the wind and making it work for you.
Exactly.
Wow.
But you know what? I don't feel as a 5'2" person. I don't realize how small I am until I see a reflection of, say, me and Tim in a window.
Sister, I'm only 2 inches taller than you.
I'm
so.
like, oh yeah, you're a foot taller than me.
Yeah.
Or if I'm next to, Rachel, not Rachel, Art. Like, oh, you're bigger than me.
But it absolutely works for the character, for the placement of the character, for how to utilize that. Because if Rachel gets scolded by Rachel, if Raylan gets scolded by Rachel, that hurts.
It means something.
That means something.
And I think and everybody underestimates it. Underestimates you because they just and that's what I love about it because they do it their own. What's the word? Thank you. Help me out.
I have no idea what you're trying to say.
We don't know where you're going. Sorry.
I don't know where you're
they
going,
underestimate you at their own peril because she always cuts them.
I love that aspect of the character too.
Yeah.
I think she likes being underestimated.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's her secret weapon.
Yeah, she's very good at it too.
So when do you wrap up the season shooting?
March 5th, I believe, is our last day. So.
And then do you have any plans for your time off?
You gonna be in theater again this year?
I would love to do another play.
Oh, that's great.
But my immediate plans, I'm hopping on a plane in the beginning of March to head to South Africa. It'll be my third trip going. My first 2 trips I was there volunteering with the AIDS hospice and orphanage called Sparrow Rainbow Village, and I will be returning there, but this time I will also be partnering with Habitat for Humanity to do a build in Cape Town for an area called Pelican Park.
Jeez.
So,
wow.
So how long will you be there?
2 weeks.
Yeah, a lot to do in 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks. It's a lot to do. We'll do a week of building, and then I'll fly to Johannesburg and hang out with my babies at the Sparrow Rainbow Village.
Yeah,
well, that's fabulous.
Wonderful. Now, you also have a charity you support that's here in the U.S.
Yes. When you guys are speaking about the prisons, I was like, I've been to prison, too.
That's it.
It's called Get on the Bus, and what they do is they reunite children with their incarcerated mother or father for Father's Day or Mother's Day.
Oh, wow.
And I coordinate a Father's Day bus, so we'll be making our 5th trip this year. And what I love about that opportunity is that the fathers initiate the visit.
Oh, nice.
So when we call their families, I can say, hey, Tasha, your dad would love to see you for Father's Day. And it's a great jumping off point in terms of, starting what is a 6-month journey of planning. And we do everything for the families. It's a free trip. Our fathers are in Soledad, California, which is about 6 hours north of here. So for many of them, this is the only time they can go because, as you can imagine, hotel, gas.
Oh, absolutely.
So we do, everything from the bus to the driver, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We do travel bags for the families. We coordinate letters from the dad to the kids after their visit. We give them blankets and T-shirts, and I like to think that it's my opportunity to give these families the red carpet treatment that I get every day.
No.
Yeah, so it's cool.
Wonderful.
You are an amazing person, and I feel very inadequate.
You should. You should.
You should, Steve. Yeah, you absolutely should.
And you didn't cause that. I'm just.
Yeah, he always feels that way.
Not my intention.
It's just his first instinct. That's where he goes.
It's just where I go.
Is that where you live? Is that where you live?
That's where he comes from.
It's where the magic happens.
That's his come from.
Yeah.
All right, well, we have to wrap up. We want to thank you so much, not only for coming here, but I really want to thank you for your work on the show. It's been a pleasure to watch every time you're on. It's always enjoyable, and I thank you so much for what you put into it.
Thank you so much.
And it's been great to have you here and to talk and to learn about you and to also hear about your charities.
Can you tell people where they can find you, your Twitter handle, etc.?
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook at Erica Tazel and also at Erica Tazel on Twitter.
There you go.
All right,
there
wonderful.
You go, everybody.
Come and play with me.
There you go.
Yes.
And we can't wait for the upcoming shows, especially, was it 12 that you're going to be doing some kick-ass?
Yeah, there'll be a lot of, I won't be the only one.
No.
All right.
It's about time.
A lot of asses to kick.
Raylan can't be kicking everyone's ass.
Yeah,
Save some for everyone else.
I've told him he can't do it by himself.
That's right.
That's
That
right.
is
Show him.
Right.
We're going to get some Jacob kicking ass too. Okay, on that note, we've got to get out of here. So where can they find you, Matt?
Okay, well, you can find me on Twitter at Matt Lieberman. That's MattLieberman. You can also find me here on AfterBuzz TV, on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Almost Human, Cougar Town, Helix on Sci-Fi. If you haven't seen it, it's a great show.
Etc.
It's, fine. Banshee and then also Lost Girl. Everyone else talk about what they do.
The man who does not like the limelight.
Spotlight, yeah.
All right, Bottomley Steven, Twitter.
I'm at Tamara Berg on Twitter. Also, check out my website, tamaracentral.com. I want to shout out a thank you to Craig Horton for the info on Rush and Nick Searcy. I show you how to make these on my blog this week, so check it out. Truffle spoons, they're delicious.
Nice.
You can find me here next time. And again, thank you so much, Erica,
Thank you,
for being
Erica.
here. We appreciate it so much.
Thank you.
We'd love to have you back whenever you want.
I'll come back
Okay,
for sure.
and ladies and gentlemen, we'll talk to you next time. Thanks for showing up.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.